yesterday, I'm going to be here today for us to discuss. It is very, very good to have you, and very, very important that I say hello to you and to appreciate you for, especially those of you who are still standing strong and who are always, standing on the path of truth. Today, of course, the seventh day of May 2020. 25, Mazen Namdekano's hearing continued, and tomorrow on the 8th, tomorrow which is the 8th of May 2025, the hearing continues, and maybe some other things too. We are certain that Mazen Namdekano is going to be vindicated. Everything happening is obvious, and the proof of the things that Mazen Namdekano actually talked about. Even Nigeria itself and the general happenings uh, proves that Mazen Namdekano has lots of witnesses around him. The happenings around today are also witnesses. They are evidences to the fact that Mazen Namdekano was actually right and saying the truth. So the contraption itself will bear witness that Mazen Namdekano is saying the truth. And by God's grace, we're expecting to welcome him back from that dungeon, that cagey, dingy dungeon that he has been in. We're expecting to welcome him back, and we want to reunite with him and then walk effectively to receive more unction for functioning, to go after our freedom like never before. I want to also use this medium to say, share this broadcast on all social media platforms. That you do this, share, and also subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. Because what we are doing here and what we are saying here are critical matters. We analyze things critically so that we'll be able to reason them out and understand what is happening, and at the same time be able to intellectually engage those who are coming against our freedom and those who are playing balls and playing, you know, games with what we stand for, especially the narrative of truth. Thank you so much for joining. And today is very, very important to our lives because as Biafrans or as Igbos, we are grateful to Chukwu. Chukwu helped us the unction and the sponsorship of the sponsorship for the Fulanis to is so massive. The sponsorship coming all over the world, and some of you don't know that the West is part of sponsoring these killings and in our land. Some of you don't know that the West is part of it. And when I see people calling on the West to intervene on the killings or calling the West to intervene on the government to stop the killings, I wonder why our people are so ignorant about what is going on. The West sponsors these kinds of things. Have a hand in our security, in our economy, or have an alibi to have their in our land, to have their what they call it peacekeepers and whatever they call it to come into the system. And let me tell you something. When if you want to understand what is really going on very well and what is happening right now in our land, I have told you before, check out what is happening in the West and the things that are happening, in the Middle East, in Europe right now, and all of this. All of this will prove to you that serious things are happening. But the important thing I want you to state here is our own preparedness to stopping the evil or the killings that are going on in our land. Now, let me tell you something. The reason why there is always this sponsorship of killings and unrest is because they have to put you in the state of fear to take over your land. Now, I was in Biafra land and I came back last week, and some weeks ago. Yeah, let me just say, yes, I just came back anyways. And I saw with my eyes that we are very, very, very blessed. Let me tell you something. Before I go on in exposing what is happening right now and the things we need to do, and play you some videos that will help you understand the extent to which we are to be alert I want to make you understand this. You see, Biafra land is very, very blessed. Now, let me tell you the reason why the West will continue to sponsor terrorism and to continue to sponsor unrest. One, they want our land to be intense, to be tensed up, and for the people to be fearful. When you have fear and when you are under tension, you don't think of development, you don't think of improvement, you don't think of advancement, you don't think of moving forward, you think of survival. So, what the West does is this: they sponsor Boko Haram, they sponsor the evils going on, they sponsor the terrorism, they sponsor the Fulani government to sponsor terrorism, they sponsor the unrest to make sure that the people don't think of development. Now, let me tell you something. Is it coincidental or is it a coincidence that Michael Okpara, when he was in government, began an industrialization of the East? It's not coincidental or it's not a coincidence. The truth here is industrialization helps to stabilize the economy of any nation. Industrialization helps to stabilize the economy of any nation. So what the terrorists want to do is this: they keep you thinking of surviving. How do I survive? How do I get myself away from evil? How do I get myself away from being killed? So that you would continue to think away from industrialization, from development, and from increase. So that you will, where you would only be sending your raw materials abroad, selling them cheap abroad, and then buying expensive things. Because industrialization will help us process our raw materials in here. What don't we have in Biafra land? We have the mineral resources, we have the natural resources, we have the human resources. Now all we need to do is to put these things together. We have bright minds, but what they do is the bright minds are taken abroad and now taught further to increase their ability through the infrastructure that is set abroad, and these ones excel abroad. But they cannot do anything here because one, they are thinking of their security when they return. So the colonial masters will make sure that the land is not secure, so that our people who have traveled abroad, intelligent people who have come to stabilize, who have come to make it, thinking of returning back to, Biafra land or coming back to their land to develop it, they'll be thinking about insecurity. They'll be thinking about being kidnapped. They'll be thinking about what the problems and all the issues that might be before them, and they will prefer to stay abroad. That is the plan of the West. That's the plan of the colonial masters. They take your bright minds, take them abroad, train them better, make them better, with their facilities and infrastructure, because they have opportunities there. So our people go to further their education, go to increase themselves. But what they leave you here with is the education that only makes you memorize things, does not make you use your intellect and your intellectual capacity. But when you go there now, you begin to see opportunities that will help you to use your intellectual capacity. And then they fund the unrest of your land so that you will not think of returning. Because if you return, you will be thinking of being kidnapped. You'll be thinking of being, what will happen to you. These are the things that they are funding. And these are the things happening right now. The unrest and the Fulani killing and the international community being quiet about it is not a coincidence. It is orchestrated to make sure that we don't come to build our land, we don't come to increase our land, to make sure that we continue to fall, to make sure that we don't make it. Now let me tell you this. I saw a particular video, I think in Oyo State also, I think it's in Oyo State. I'll play that video to you right now so that you can see it, so that you can understand what is happening. You must know that it is high time we defended ourselves. Now let me tell you, you see, if you are alive now, you are a potential instrument for the stopping of criminality, for the stopping of evil, for the stopping of unrest, for the stopping of terrorism. God didn't put you in this generation to make you waste away or to make you useless for this generation. This generation needs tough men, tough women, people with hard hearts, people who can face the evil and confront evil to the face and look at it and attack it. That's why we're here. So if you are here, all you are doing is afraid and jittery, you are not behaving like someone who has been programmed to be useful in this generation. Now, our forefathers allowed things to go bad. They allowed the British to have their way. They allowed things to happen. In fact, as Mazen Namdekan would say, always said, he said that if they knew after the war, once the war stopped, what they would have done is going to guerrilla fight, guerrilla attacks, guerrilla warfare. But they didn't have that knowledge at that time. They only surrendered to Nigeria. If they had gone into guerrilla warfare by now, Biafra would have been standing strong, I tell you. But anyways, this is the time for us now to think very broadly. Now, this particular video, let me play it. Maybe I need to play it so that you'll understand it. Now, watch this video so that you can understand, so that I can use it to push the narrative of what I'm trying to make you understand today. Because let me tell you, if we don't stand up as we are supposed to stand up and do what we have to do right now, our land is in grave danger. Our land is in grave danger. Biafra land is the target. If you don't know, just know it right now. Biafra land is the target of the globalists. They are still actively, they are doing everything. They are doing everything. Now, the problem is this. You see, the challenge here, that is why I made this video. The challenge here is that these people, every day, their job is to sit down, plan how they're going to invade our land, plan how they're going to destroy our farmlands, plan how they are going to destabilize us, plan how they are going to keep us in serious danger of, of survival. That is what they do every day. Now, you and I, what we do every day is we wake up thinking of how we're going to progress our lives, thinking of how we're going to increase our chances of survival, thinking of how we're going to make more, thinking of how we're going to get our lives to get better, to excel in our education, excel in our academics, excel in everything we're doing, excel in business, get our families, get married and all of that. We are thinking positive. Now, the way you think positive and plan is the way these Fulanese and their sponsors sit down to plan. Now, their plan is to destroy you. Your plan is to excel. And the truth here is, if you are only thinking of success without thinking of defending your success in this generation, you are not going to go far. So we must understand that the program or the project of survival goes with security consciousness, which means that anywhere we are right now, especially in Biafra land, it's difficult to really do this outside Biafra land. In Biafra land, every community must prepare for, every community must have a defense. The youths in those communities, stop chasing after one another. Stop thinking of killing your brother or sister, or going to do juju against your brother or sister, or envying your brother or sister, or thinking of destroying your brother or sister, or destroying his success, or stop thinking. Stop looking for Yahoo and all this stuff, wearing your pants on your legs, moving around aimlessly. The youths of our community should now come together to begin to secure arms to defend their communities. Now, let me tell you something. You see, I'm from Ngopala in Imo State, and let me tell you, in my community, Fulani cannot enter there. Fulani headsmen cannot enter there. Once you strike, the youths are ready. They are very ready to defend the land. Now, how many of our communities are ready to defend their land? How many of our communities are prepared? All we see on social media is complaints. All we see on social media is giving reports of the statistics, how many people have been killed, who has been killed, who has been done, what has happened to this one, what has happened to that one, and then we go on propaganda. This one, you begin to hail people. You are not concentrating. We're not thinking of how to stop the malaise. We're not thinking of how to stop this madness. Look at lanky idiots called Fulani headsmen, or whatever they call them. But terrorists they are, moving around with AK-47 and doing committing lots of havoc. If we are prepared as people, you need the government to tell you to be prepared when the government is sponsoring these people to come against you. When the British contraption, the British Empire is sponsoring them to come against you to destabilize your land, so that you will not return from abroad to develop it, so that you that is in Lagos will not return to bring your business back to Biafra land to develop that place. Because we have so much opportunities, so many opportunities in Biafra land. They don't want us to develop ourselves and increase our potentials or strengthen our potentials by physically putting these things into action. So they want to continually destabilize us, but we must decide. Anywhere a people really had change, let me tell you, this is not a funny generation, a generation of jokes. This generation is not a generation of jokes. This generation will determine what happens in a long time in generations to come. I tell you, check out the global happenings and the things happening in the world today. This generation is the determinant factor for. Remember, the boom in technology and advancement and innovation began just in these 2000s, or in the late 90s to 2000s, which means that we have two generations that are occupying. I mean, we have two generations now that are physically present right now. The generations of the analog state, when technological advancement and computer advancement, AI and all of that had not really come up strongly, and the generation that now are born, we are meeting at a point. Now, the problem here is that this one comes with his own ideology and understanding based on the fact that they have history behind them, and they have some problems with merging and blending with the current affairs of situation, or the current state and sense of operation, that is born into a project of boom, technological advancement and all of that, and they are born into it, and all they see right now is they don't have experience of the past, of the terribleness of what the other generation has passed through, that the generation is still living right now. This new generation now is struggling to fit in to understand what has really happened previously, because they are distracted with what social media produces. They are distracted with what is happening in the technological world. They are distracted with 419, Yahoo, and other things. They are not looking at the real facts of what the analog stage had been preparing coming to this time. And this is the time now that we must come to blend these things. The analog people and the computer people who are born right now will come to understand these two things. You have the computer knowledge, you are born in this season, but there is something about you that this or previous season of devastation, this previous season of colonization, this previous season of the wars, and the First World War, the Second World War, the Gulf War, and other wars, and the genocidal war against Biafra, and all the wars that were fought, this previous season has an impact and has a story that should fit in your generation. So now there is a need to now begin to understand these two things. That is why we're coming here to preach, because we must showcase these things and make the digital age, or the Gen Zs, whatever they call themselves, to begin to align themselves with serious matters as concerning sustenance of our nation. Sustenance of our nation. Now, they have come to make these Gen Zs think that life is about Yahoo, making money, and you don't care about, you just go and travel here, travel there, make money, come to computer, go to crypto, make money, and dupe somebody, outsmart somebody. They have come to make them become so conscious of material things than being conscious of nationhood, and success. That is why we have a serious problem right now. And you see somebody who calls himself a Nigerian, for instance, and you ask him why he's a Nigerian. You say, yes, I'm born in Nigeria. And you ask him what is Nigeria, he doesn't know. He tells you Nigeria is a country. You ask him what a country is, he doesn't know. You ask him what a nation is, he doesn't know. All he's concerned about is that we are Nigerians, and let's just do the fast. Let's just make our things. Let's make the money. Let's just enjoy ourselves and all of that. That's what is most important. And then they are there before you know it. Their village is raided by Fulani. Those coming from the analog world with using the digital equipment to invade them right now, because those ones are like robots. They are programmed by the colonial masters and used as materials or weapons against the current generation and the previous generation. And this is where we need to begin to set the standard. This is where we need to come. Now let me play this video to you so that you will understand what I'm saying. Now this happened in the southwest. In the southwest. Some of you might have seen this video, but I want to draw your consciousness to the fact. Now just listen to what the man was saying. Some of these people escaped. Some of these people ran away. They ran away with their weapons. Some of these, they saw them in trailers carrying goods. These people are horrible. They can stay inside of goods in trailers and survive it. They are so desperate to penetrate our lands and get into our bushes. They are so desperate to make sure that they achieve their goals and be in the good books of Allah and get that 72 virgins they are working for. They are so desperate to make sure that they conquer our land and see to it that in their time, just like what Usman Dan Fodio said, it's going to come to pass in their time. Some of you have forgotten Amadou Bello. Some of you have forgotten the kind of interview he granted one media agency, I think the BBC or something, as at that time in the 1960s, early 1960s or late 50s. You know, when he said that they need to dominate the Igbos. The Igbos are domineering. They need to cut them off. They need to take them away. They need to suppress them. They need to marginalize them. He said so many things. Some of you think that those things are just mere saying talks from one man. No, it is a program that has been designed and set by Usman Dan Fodio that they are running on. It is a continuous thing. It is not something just said passively. It is something that is said actively and a project that is already set by them to accomplish. So when you hear them say, when you hear some of you see some of this video where you see these Fulani guys with AK-47 and they begin to jubilate and talk about some rubbish, and then they mention Biafra and they say, we are coming, we're doing this. You think they are talking for nothing? They are saying the things they have been brainwashed to believe. And they are going to make sure that they achieve it because that's what they live for. They believe that that is what they have been told. Allah has given them the go-ahead to carry out this evil. Now watch this.
They've been caught, I don't know the report, between express towards so we have to be security conscious now. In fact, these days, all the trucks that pass through express have to thoroughly check. They use it as hideouts where most of their guns and other ammunition were being hid. Look at this one too. God knows what is hidden under this now. So we have to be security conscious. This probably was how I saw it with my eyes today. Just like James Bond film, when Abasaku engaged them with gun before they were caught. They were scattered because some of them escaped with their gun. AK-7 was the name. So please, we should be security of ourselves. All these people that push Bola have to be cautioned, they have to be challenged. They are only here to survey. This expressway between Olaroya and Mopi Express in Oyo. Yes. Because you are caught, look at their machine, they left with the cow. This truck was forced to stop. Look at the tire. Was punctured by gun.
Now, uh, I believe that you have got the message there, because I just wanted you to see that video, because sometimes when we sit down and all we think about is how we're going to survive, what we're going to do for our families, as we keep planning every day, sometimes we might not remember how critical the situation is, and especially understanding that as we are sitting to plan. Now, let me give you this perspective. You know that most of the things that you achieve every day comes because you plan daily. You plan to marry, you plan to have your children, you plan to do this, you plan to do that. And when you plan all of this stuff, you discover that you begin to achieve them one after the other. You can imagine the kind of energy that goes into it trying to achieve these things. The same way these Fulani people, the same way these colonial people are planning, and they put everything into it to achieve it. Now, you can imagine how excited you become when you achieve what you're planning, because of the effort you put into it. The same way also they get very excited when they conquer you. Now look at what this one is in Southwest. Some of you might say, it's in Yoruba land, but let me tell you, we have. If I don't know how many times you always travel to the east, how many times you always travel to the east, to Biafra land, you would notice that we have so many trucks on the way going to the east. Those ones carrying tomatoes, those ones carrying things that we can even plant in our land, those ones carrying cows and all of that, things we can easily breed in our land. We see them carrying them into our land every day, and every day they have lots of their malams and their bokis and their terrorists in those trucks, transporting them into our land. And then when they get there, they couple their guns, they go into the bushes, waiting for the right time to attack. They keep kidnapping, keep committing crimes, and doing lots of things on the road. Now, all of these are true based on this video, because these ones now were caught because that particular truck was searched based on reports, or based on, they were alerted, and then they were searched, and then they were caught. Now you can imagine the trucks that would have passed, the ones that would have passed, and the ones that would have not been checked at all. You can imagine most of these trucks that even that are checked anyways, under the truck, you can't bring everything out to check. Weapons and more weapons and bullets and everything inside of them. Rocket launchers and everything inside of them. And what surprised me was that on a Friday I was in Owerri, and when it was the time, I just suddenly I discovered that there was traffic. Somehow the traffic work. I was coming from that Makohia area, from Akwakuma area, you know, and just as I was entering Douglas, Douglas Road, I was just wondering why everywhere is so busy and all. I saw plenty mal abukis, all these plenty Fulanis, and all of them, and the houses just moving. And I was wondering why are these people so many in this place. I got to that place they call um, something Aboki or something. I can't remember the name now, because that thing annoys me when I hear that name. And I saw them there, many. They were so many. I now remember this Friday. They said they were praying. I saw some standing in front of the banks. The banks on that road, they put their stuff in front of the banks, and they were praying. The security men couldn't tell them to remove that stuff. This is a business place, for God's sake. Why are you putting yourself in your praying on the streets and on the road in Owerri, in our land, in Owerri? They were putting their stuff there, praying. I was just imagining what each of them there are carrying, the daggers they are carrying. I was just imagining what the weapons that, as you see them, anything they bring out weapons, and before you know it, people start falling. And these weapons are poisoned. I was imagining how all these ones came. At what point did they all? There are so many in our land. Owerri has been taken over. There are so many. Now you can imagine the ones in Abia that Ojus Okalu gave an area. You can imagine this. But we must stop them. Now, how do we stop them? Now, I want to play another that will interest you. Although it's about 5 minutes, I want to just play it. I want you to listen to this man. The message I want to get out is the kind of spirit we need now. The kind of spirit we need now, because we are in an emergency time. We are in an emergency time. As much as we wait for Mazen Amekano to come out, and then we take our our chase for referendum and for freedom to another level. We must begin to do what we have to do now individually as communities to get results and prepare ourselves for the time. Now, I'm going to play this other video. Listen to this man. He is in Abuja, Buhari area. Now, listen to him in Abuja. This thing is also happening even in the capital territory. Now, do you understand what we're talking about here? We're talking about a place called a nation or a country. And terrorists are entering every day, killing people. Nothing is being done about it. Now, look at it the other way around. Israel had an attack October 7th, 2023. Since then, Israel is making sure they fish out the last Hamas in Gaza. They don't want that kind of thing to happen again. Just 1,000 something, 1,000 about is it how many people now that were kidnapped? 1,002 also killed also, and then 100 and something also. I can't remember the number of people kidnapped. Is it? I can't remember now. I don't know why I forgot. Now, just that few number, which of course is much, and not degrading the number, but just that the number of people. You can imagine the number of people that were kidnapped and killed. Israel has gone into war for almost 2 years now, 1 year plus, and they have expanded their. They have in fact 2 days ago, they decided that they are going to occupy Gaza. They have brought in their reservists and all of that, and into the military, their military reserves and all of that. They are bringing more of them, into thousands of them, into the fold, so that they will now go ground and occupy Gaza. They are expanding their attack on Gaza. You know why? Just for 1 day attack in Israel. 1 day attack, 7th of October 2023. We have had series of attack, killings, brutal killings, including the ones they will come and show you their leg and social media, how they cut the leg, how they butcher the neck, and how they are celebrating and how they are coupling their weapons and all of that. No emergency, no alarm, nothing to show that there is something dangerous going on. The government is quiet, everything happens quietly. The international community, US mission goes to have meetings with them to discuss peace. Do they do that in US? Do they discuss peace with anybody who have come to attack them? When 9/11 happened in 2001, did they go to discuss peace with Al Qaeda? Did they cause Osama bin Laden to discuss peace? Rather, they used that opportunity to invade Iraq when there was no weapon of mass destruction, according to their claim. Just an excuse. They were looking for an excuse to invade anywhere they feel to them is a threat, both rightly and wrongly. They invaded Afghanistan, they invaded Iraq, whereas Osama bin Laden was in one time we heard it was in Iran. But they were shying away. They went to Afghanistan, they went to Iraq because they wanted regime change in Iraq so that they can get access to the oil. They always go after things that is for them, that they want to have for themselves. Not that is for them, that they want to have for themselves. And they go at any length or to any length to get it. They go to any length to get it. Now listen to this. Israel has continued the attacks till date. Now the so-called governors and everybody is relaxed. Nobody's saying anything. Nothing is going on. Now I'm going to close with this. Before I'll show you this video, then I'm going to close with one write-up that an Hausa somebody from the north did concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so that we will begin to understand how we reason and how we take things seriously. Because you see, people wonder how we operate and how we handle things. They wonder whether we are under spell, so to the point that we cannot even think right and stand strong to defend ourselves in spite of the evils we are seeing around us. Now watch this particular video. I'm going to play this video. Listen to this man. I want you to listen to this man and see what the personal decision he has made. Now this personal decision this man has made is an idea of the collective decision we should make, and that's why I want to play it so that we all can hear it. Now listen to this. Just listen to this.
Good morning, my fellow Nigerians. I am Pastor Bondas calling Ifeanyi, and I reside in Kogo, to Buhari FCT Abuja, the Federal Capital Authority of Nigeria. Last 2 years, I planted crops, half acre of crops in Jeina village, Buhari, and I spent over 400,000 naira. And the Fulani herdsmen came and destroyed all the crops that I planted. That was last 2 years. Last year, I planted again in cocoa extension, just 100 by 100. And at the time of harvest of my crops, the Fulani herdsmen came and they destroyed everything. This is my compound and this is my church. And I usually plant crops here. So last year we planted this banana and plantain here. The banana would have grown up to this height and ready for reproduction by June this year. But unfortunately, the Fulani herdsmen came and they eat their banana and plantain to the ground. It grew again. They eat it down to the ground. It grew again. And I saw one of them. I was lucky enough to be here and I saw them. And I beat them and I told them, this is my compound and my crops. Stop destroying my property. Funny enough, they left and they came back again. Repeated the same thing and I beat them again. Funny enough, they left and they came back the third time. And they cut down this plantain and destroyed the crops. Not only my crops, along with other people who plant in their compounds. So yesterday, me and one elderly man, we chased the cattle away and the boys away. Then I went back home. And when I came back, I heard that these Fulani herdsmen were threatening to kill the old man in Kogo community, FCT Abuja, and waste his blood. Now, I'm sending this message to Mr. President Tinubu, to the FCT Minister Wike, to the FCT Senator Ireti, and to the House of Rep of Ahmad Buhari, Obika. You people are a disgrace to Nigerians and a shame to your office. If tiny Fulani herdsmen who are not strong as a broom could terrorize FCT and be killing people, and you claim to be leaders, shame on you. Shame on your generation. You are a disgrace. Now, the Chief of Army Staff reside in FCT. The police IG reside in FCT. Same thing as the Air Force and the Navy. And farmers are not safe, even in their own compound. Now I want to pass this message clear to the Nigerian government. At the same time, I'm sending this message to all the Fulani herdsmen in the whole world. Fulani herdsmen, hear me clearly. You are free to destroy people as you like. I can't stop you. If you like, even enter a sort of kill Tinubu, burn everybody, pursue IG of police. That one are your cup of tea. But I will not be alive. And you come to my compound and threaten me, I will waste you. Now hear this. If you are one Fulani herdsman and you came against my crops, I will come against your cattle. If you fight me, I will fight you. And if you want to kill me, I will kill you. And hear this, now I will not die, you will die. I am the 21st century Elijah, the New Testament John the Baptist. I cannot be killed. You have your guns. You have your government. You have foreign aids. I have Jesus. And I'm coming against you in the name of Jesus Christ. It is not everything you can kill. Any Fulani herdsman who enter this my compound, I'm not in the bush, I'm in the city. If the intent to threaten my life, you will not go back alive. I'm not threatening you. I'm giving you a deadly warning.
Now, now you know why I play this. I just wanted to make you understand the kind of mindset we should have towards our security. I'm not going to take you a long time right now. I'm going to stop this here. And I just wanted to give you a sense of how the kind of mindset we should have now concerning our freedom and concerning our security, because we have allowed these Fulani herdsmen, these terrorists that are called Fulani herdsmen, to chew, to bite more than they can chew. We have allowed them. But before I end this, I want to read this message that one particular guy, his name is Khalid Yazidu, a northerner, wrote. Now look at what he wrote about Mazen Namdekano. Every word uttered by Mazen Namdekano in that courtroom was not merely a defense. It was a cry from the depth of a wounded soul. The cry of a people denied their history, denied their voice, and denied their dignity. When he declared, fighting for Biafra emancipation is my fundamental right, not a crime, he summoned the truth that nations fear and tyrants bury. That freedom is not given, it is claimed. He stood not just as a man in handcuffs, but as a symbol of a dream unbroken by wars, unshaken by threats, and untouched by fear. You can jail a body, but you can never jail the truth. You can silence a man, but not the memory of what he stood for. If a country must crush a voice to maintain its unity, if a country must crush a voice to maintain its unity, then that unity is already broken. And as I watch from the north, my heart bleeds like him, talking about Mazen Namdekano, not to defend this engineered slumber. Can Mazen, uncompromising, intellectually dangerous, someone who can speak to our pains and not compromising, intellectually dangerous. Okay, someone who can speak to our pain, not in whispers of politics, but in roars of a revolution. Our youths have been used as foot soldiers for greedy elites, blinded by religion, chained by poverty, and deafened by propaganda. Who will rise for us? Injustice is betrayal to destiny. The North is not weak. We are only uninformed. We need that voice now. We need that fire. We need that awakening. Now, this is someone writing, a Northerner writing. Then Mazen Namdekano that we are not cherishing, a Northerner is writing about him. Now, think about it. But it is time we stood up strongly and stopped this malaise of madness of the killers invading our land. It is a security alert. It is a security alert. We must stand up right now and we must defend our communities. Each community, pick up weapons. Pick up weapons. It is your right to defend yourselves. It is your right to defend yourselves. Thank you so much. I'll see you again. Please share on all your social media platforms and also subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. Just put down a comment when I come again to look at it and I see it. I'll respond to it. If it's something I have to respond, I'll do respond. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. It's already getting dark here, so I have to leave the office. I'm still in the office. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Very good. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tomorrow is 8th of May. Mazen Namdekano will be in court. Please pray for him. We all owe him. We all are being tried. That's the truth. We are being unjustly tried as long as Mazen Namdekano is there. And Mazen Namdekano is the symbol of our freedom, not anyone else. Only Mazen Namdekano is the symbol of our freedom because he represents truth and good conscience. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.